Welcome back to a brand new episode of Gen Z BTC. It's me, Satoshi Guapamoto. And today I just wanted to give a little bit of motivation, for all the big dogs out there, all the Bitcoiners out there, just stay solid and just continue to grind. You know what I mean? That's all there is to it. You know, in a Bitcoin standard, you can actually grind your way to wealth without having to take on the risk of completely wasting your life. When it comes to a fiat standard, there's a lot of people who want to cope and sit here and pretend like everybody can just grind their way to a billion or grind their way to a million. If you don't find some sort of way to essentially extract the economic value from other individuals, you're not going to be able to make a B. You cannot. All right. At the end of the day, when it comes to making enormous amounts of money, the size that you literally would not be able to even spend all your money if you tried, right? You have to get really close to the money printer. And then from there, you're a quintillionaire who is essentially leveraging the debt-based system to make sure that you can subjugate others and extract the surplus value of their labor from them in order for you to further enrich yourself. Fiat standards encourage exploitation, right? That's the reason why the business owner continues to buy a bigger and bigger and bigger house and car, and the business swells up and the revenues grow and the profit margins grow. But interestingly, the pay for all the workers remains the same. In fact, it's actually going down lower due to the increased cost of living. So if your pay stays the same, but the cost of living is actually going up, you are actually getting poorer, which is why we see so many people complaining on TikTok about how everything's so expensive and they can't afford to live or buy stuff. It's because they're getting poorer. They might think they're getting richer because they got a 2% raise after a year of hard work. And somehow the company was able to beat revenue by, over 100%. But you get a 2% raise, right? On your wage that is already not even 1/1000th of the revenue that the company makes. And the reason why is because companies have a dual mandate, especially public companies. The dual mandate is to maximize profits and to maximize shareholder value. So you have to think from the perspective of a company. They have every incentive in the world to pay you as little as possible so that way they can make as much money as possible. That's literally just how the game goes. Because let's say it's the opposite, right? Let's say their motive is actually to make as little money as possible and pay you as much as possible. They'd be out of business and you would have no job. Okay? So that's dumb and that doesn't make any sense, right? So what they're going to do is they're going to try to maximize their profit, minimize the amount of workers, okay? Be highly efficient. How can we pay the smallest amount of people to do the most amount of work for the smallest cost possible? Okay? This is how all the normies become the modern day slaves, right? You become the modern day slaves and you are forced to work from 18 all the way up to 68. Except actually 68-year-olds are living a little bit longer and it looks like y'all got a little bit more pep in your step. So I think you can go a little bit harder. Stop being so lazy. Let's raise that retirement age. Okay. That's why we see people working to 69, to 70, to 71, 72, and it just keeps going. It doesn't go lower. You think the retirement age is dropping? It gets higher. All right. And that's because people live longer and they have less money. They have less savings. So they have to work longer with their longer lives. And it's absolutely brutal and it crushes their little spirits. And that's not really the point of this video. The point was to be a little bit more motivational. And the motivation is that people who save in dollars, they have to live in that system. They have to live in that world. They have to live in the bubble that is extracting all of their value from them. All right. Whereas Bitcoiners exist on a completely different system. Bitcoiners exist on a system where their purchasing power is going up. They're actually gaining value. Instead of extracting value from individuals, they're extracting value from technology. Okay? Because technology deflates the price of stuff because it makes everything highly efficient. Okay? Why is it that a fatback TV, when it first was released, an old school fatback, right? 50 inch plasma, right? Back in the day, 2008, you try to get a 50 inch with a fat back, that was probably a couple racks, okay? We're looking at like 2 racks, 3 racks. Today, you buy a 50-inch TV, okay? There's maybe one or two that are Q, OLED, LED, 3D. The TV comes out and touches you, you know? But most TVs that are 50 inches, they're going for 200 bucks, 300 bucks, 400 bucks. Why is that? Technology is deflationary. It gets cheaper to make screens because people get better at making screens. It gets cheaper to make the chips that run inside the TV, okay? Which means that, again, the TV is getting cheaper. The TVs are more energy efficient, right? Which means they save power. They're using less energy. They are expending less money. They're expending less energy, right? Overall, all these things start to bring the price of the TV down. The price of the TV starts to slowly come down because it becomes easier and easier to mass produce TVs, right? Which means that people can consume more and more TVs. There might have been a time where having a TV in your house was a luxury expense. Now everyone has like 5 TVs, right, that they don't even need, right? I'm sure you've got some TVs maybe in your garage or some that you sold at a garage sale because you're like, man, this TV's so old and garbage. I don't want this trash. I have a new, nice, thin, good, clear picture TV with YouTube, right? And you're going to say the same thing about your TV today, you'll do the same thing in the future. Why is that? Because technology keeps getting better. It's deflationary, okay? The TV that is $4,000 today, the top of the line, it will be $400 in 10 years. If they're even still selling them, which they won't be, because the tech will be so outdated and horrible, no one's going to want to watch it on that horrible TV. No one's just going to want to watch that. No one wants to watch that. Bitcoin's deflationary. All the prices deflate. All right. People who grind on a Bitcoin standard, if you're grinding extra hours, if you're doing 60 hours a week today and you're investing and saving your money when Bitcoin is your savings account, you are getting way further ahead than the person who is grinding 60 hours a week and saving in fiat. If they're saving their money in a high yield savings account and they're getting 4%, you are completely destroying them. The person who's working 30 hours a week is destroying the person who's working 60, 70 hours a week and saving in a high yield savings account. Sorry, you might not like it. That's just how the game goes. People who were buying Nvidia many years ago and were saving their money and investing their money in Nvidia today are a lot richer than people who saved in bonds, okay? People who saved in certificates of deposit, right? You might not like it, but guess what? Nvidia is just way more productive than bonds. They are way more productive than a high yield savings account. The person who is working 20 hours a week and they saved all their money from 2000 to now in Apple, they're making a lot more than someone who worked 60 hours and saved all of their money under their mattress and just held dollars and just held them. Okay? When you save on a Bitcoin standard, your grind is actually rewarded and reciprocated because everyone wants to avoid working as much as possible. Whether you love your job or not, you want to actually gain economic value. You want to gain purchasing power over time. How do you do that? You let your dollars work more than you can. Now, if you're really, really stupid and an idiot, then maybe you really like doing backbreaking labor for the rest of your life. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. I want you to do it until you're 80. Okay. And then when you fall out and die, I want your boss to tell you to get up and start working, even though you're literally lifeless on the floor. Okay. That's what I want to happen to you. All right. But for normal people who don't think that that's normal, okay, I want normal people to realize by saving in Bitcoin, you're able to make your money work for you. You're jumping over everyone else who's trying to work for money. You want to make your money work for you. Your grind is being rewarded because you're investing your hard-earned time and energy, right, into something that's going to appreciate in value. That lets you skip the line, so to speak, because you're taking on a risk and you're having a vision for the future and you are being rewarded. You are gaining value because the thing that you believe in is also gaining that value, right? The thing that you believe in is gaining a network effect. It is gaining adoption. It is gaining value. It is gaining usage. All right. That's true for all companies. Okay. If you believe in Microsoft to be able to capture the market and make more chips and have their chips inside of every computer, guess what? If you believe that in 2000, you ended up being pretty correct today. And that's why Microsoft is so much bigger today than it was back then. More people believed in it. More people bought the chips. More people bought into the infrastructure. More people used Microsoft Teams. They developed more tools. They let people use their stuff, and people actually used it. When it comes to Bitcoin, more people are actually using the network. People are realizing the value in the network. People are realizing the value of truly digitally scarce money. People are realizing the value of being able to send value over all distances throughout all times, right? Being able to save your economic purchasing power for a long time. People are realizing the value. You want people to realize the value in the things that you invest in. Invest in the scarcest, hardest, most powerful, most immutable ledger in the world. The most powerful monetary network, the most powerful computer network. That's why people invest. That's why people save in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is their new money. And that money rewards them due to its deflationary nature. The deflation of technology is what makes Bitcoiners rich over time. That is the reason why a house used to cost 6,000 Bitcoins, then it cost 600 Bitcoins, then it cost 60 Bitcoins. Today, the average house, an amazing house by the way, cost about 6 Bitcoin. If you have 6 Bitcoin, that means that you have about, $450,000, $420,000, around that range. That could buy you a really amazing house. It only takes 6 Bitcoin. Imagine what it'll be in another 4 years where you look back and you're thinking, dang, I could have had a house with only 0.6 Bitcoin. And that's because the deflation of the network continues making holders more and more rich, so to speak. Thank you for watching this video. Get out there and grind, all right? But don't make your grind go to waste. Do not waste your grind by buying Wendy's stock, okay? Otherwise, you're going to be behind the dumpster of a Wendy's doing some stuff that you don't want your kids to know about, okay? Let me just put it like that, okay? You want to put your economic value into something that's actually going to work harder than you can, right? Work harder than you. Make your money work harder than you. And Bitcoin is the hardest working money in the universe. So thank you so much for watching. This has been Gen Z BTC. If you liked the video, drop a like. If you want to see more, subscribe, ring the bell icon, drop a comment, talk with me, and share it with someone who you might think might also like it. So I'll see you on the next video. Stack sats or die trying.